Sup guys, it's September 10, 2015. My name is Desro. Sup guys, it's Desro. I fucked it up. Welcome to Remax, episode 52. I'm joined here today with wonderful people that are very good at what they do, which is abusing Ravagers and abusing Adepts, and then the Mole, who's there to complain, as always. But yeah, let's go with the intros. So Naidan, what have you been up to lately?
Well, I've been playing Legacy mostly,
Yeah.
and I guess that's about it.
All right. Oh, what the hell? Whoops, guys. Sorry about that. What about you, Bly? What have you been up to lately?
I was actually mostly practicing a lot and playing all the tournaments, even though it's hard a lot. I don't care too much. Actually, after I stopped playing hard, I won few tournaments just instantly. I guess because it was more enjoyable to play.
Hmm. Yeah, you seem to be like the guy that plays the most online tournaments. Is there any reason for it?
As much you play, as bigger chance you have to win.
Yeah, that's very true. But at this point, is it for the money, or you just enjoy tournaments much more than ladder?
Yeah, both, I would say.
Okay.
Like both, for sure. When you're playing tournaments, you practice not only gameplay, not only mechanics, but mind games too, overall.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's really good practice.
I think I'll never forget when you keep cheesing me in best of ones and tournaments. Those are
It
the
worked. It worked for 1 year. Like same strategy worked for 1 year versus every Protoss.
yeah. Well, great talent you have. What about you, Mo? What have you been up to lately?
Yo, man, I'm doing good. I've been doing the usual stuff, streaming and so on, but not when WSS is going on. So I've been watching that, cheering for Sunster and some other people. Other than that, not a lot, man. There's actually one thing I did dig into a bit today. I've always been trying to, figure out if Roach Burrow is important in Roach versus Roach Micro.
Hmm.
So I've started working a little bit on a custom map to figure that out.
Oh, really?
Updates to be expected.
Are you like digging into the math of like, is it worth it? Is it good?
Yeah, exactly. It will be like Roach versus Roach is A moving, and then like one guy is gonna do Roach micro, and the other guy is basically not gonna be doing it. And I'll be trying like different upgrades, tunneling class and whatnot to figure out. Because I had like very hard opinion about Roach versus Roach. I think it's pretty stupid. So I wanted to find out eventually if Burrow micro actually makes a difference or not.
I see.
But what about
And
you, Destro? And yeah,
What do you say,
last,
Blight?
well, so far, I can say a vaguely answer is that Roche Micro is definitely worth it, but that might be because Roche has redirect because you burn them.
okay.
All right. As for myself, Moro, I've been yeah, not doing much really. I went shopping for a wedding on Saturday, and so it cost me $500. It was really painful to pay this much for clothes, but that's life, I guess, and it moves on. Let's get into the topics. The latest StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void balance update, which was posted last week. I know if you're the biggest fan of Mo, you've probably heard him talk about it like 3 times by now, since he's been on every talk show imaginable. But we're still going to discuss it because we have a fresh take on things with wonderful people like Nighten and Bly. So let's, by the way, there was a big David Kim post today. So everything that David Kim addressed in his post, we're not going to touch. So, like the new Chrono Boost, we're only going to touch it when we get to the David Kim post of today. So let's dig into it. So we have Zealot charge, add a 30 damage bonus when it hit the target. It's now reduced to 8. Something I've never really made when I played, but I'm not the most talented. So Naiden, someone who probably made a lot of Zealots, how's the difference? Did they go from OP to reasonable, or are they still like really strong?
Well, I didn't make too many either.
Oh, really?
I think they were extremely imbalanced in only one situation when you had to drop or harass the mineral line of your opponent. Doesn't matter if you played against Protoss, Zerg, or Terran. And against the not that good players, I think they were extremely imbalanced in head-to-head fight, because especially against Terran, most of the Terrans weren't micro in his units all too well, and the Zealots could do way too much damage. And I think the nerf from 30 to 8, it's a good nerf.
Okay. What about you, Mo? When you had to face those mighty zealots with 30 damage, how did you feel? How did that make you feel?
Didn't we talk about this last remix, like about the damage
Oh, I think we...
with Huck and everything?
Oh, yeah, okay. So fuck you, Mo. What about you, Bly? We didn't get your take on it.
I agree with Night, it was kinda OP versus drones. Every time Warp Prism just came and those zealots was one-shotting all the drones. And like, why do you need to warp adepts if you can? Because they two-shot drone when you can warp zealots that cost only minerals and they one-shot. It was kind of OP, but overall I didn't have any problems with like face-to-face fight. But I still think like Terran should suffer from the such damage. It's like too much.
Okay. The Colossus buff doesn't really matter. The Tempest, I think, is one of the biggest change in the Protoss arsenal. Nighten, did you like the Tempest with the burn ability? And do you like the change of the Tempest going back to Heart of the Swarm?
Well, if you believe me, I think I haven't used old Tempest more than 2 or 3 times. I didn't really like the unit at all. I actually don't like it either now. I think it's only good against Broodlords. I simply don't see why would Protoss make Tempest in any other situation besides against Tempest, against Broodlord.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
would you like them to go back to the Tempest with the burn ability?
I'm not sure, because I really don't know against what would you use that Tempest. Maybe only to proxy a Stargate. I've seen Hearthstone, I think.
What about Liberators? Don't you struggle versus Liberators?
Well, yeah, they are way too strong early game, because you don't actually have a counter to the Liberators. I mean, you have the Phoenix, but only if you know they are coming. Stalkers are not an option. And now with the pylon change, you can use the pylons to shut down the Liberators.
Yeah, that's very true.
If they try to harass your mineral line. And also late game, if the Terran have a lot of them, I think they are too strong. I mean, I'm pretty sure they are too strong. Maybe Moro disagrees.
No, I actually agree with you. Liberator seems like the one unit that's like, if you only look at Time versus Protoss, like I think Liberator is the one unit that's actually like the obvious choice. You always want to be Liberator against Protoss. It seems to be
too, right?
It seems to be good against like every Protoss unit. I think you want it in every army composition.
I see. What about you, Bly? Are you glad that the Tempest don't have the burn ability anymore?
I didn't play too much versus this ability. Actually, only one game, and I hated it because I had Ultras and Broodlords. He was trying to siege me on Terraform, and this map is so good for Tempest. I just couldn't catch it, and this ability, I think it's so stupid. Like, they should change it, but like not bring it back, just change it to like you can at least heal it. Like I just look how my ultra is dying and I can do nothing about it. Like if I go face, I face cannons and storms and I can do nothing. Like there is not much options for Zerg left.
Yeah.
And now I feel like bring it back to Heart of the Swarm is kind of dumb. Like I don't see the reason.
Yeah, I agree with you. They went too
Carriers
far.
is way better. Like
Yeah.
way better. Like best unit in the game.
And how do you counter the Broodlord with carriers?
What?
How do you counter the Broodlord as a Protoss with
Carrier counter everything that they can have. Like there is no counter to carriers. Like if Protoss managed to make at least like 160 carriers, GG. Like no way to win.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, I do agree with half of your point. I think carriers are good now, but the counter to Broodlord is not the carrier, it's the Tempest. Like, if you see the Zerg go for a Broodlord, you have to go for Tempest.
So the
You
DPS...
don't have time to make carriers to counter the Broodlords.
No, you don't need to make carriers to counter Broodlords. You just make bases, trying to switch into carriers, whatever Zerg does, and you just win. That's the point.
Okay, so the point is Protoss is OP.
Carriers is OP. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. How would you fix that, Bly? How would you fix the carrier being too strong?
I don't know. This release interceptors is so strong. Like, it's too strong. Maybe delete this ability.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. I can see why it would cause you a lot of headaches. And I guess they're never gonna add the. Oh, Jesus. They're never gonna add. What is it like? Back in Brood War, like the Zerg had a unit that would suicide.
Yeah.
The Scourge.
Scourge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And since you can't.
110 HP.
Yeah, since you can't use the cloud on the interceptors, and they're not gonna add the Scourge.
Yeah.
Then maybe you're right. Maybe they would have to do something like that.
Like I tried, like when there was like 12 carriers, I tried to use
the cloud.
Like 10 Vipers and cloud.
Yeah.
Then they're not even close to clamp. Like it's easy to spread them, and they're never close to each other. They're like two big units overall.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. The Oracle was buffed. Nighten, do you enjoy this current buff? Like Revelation has a bigger range. You think that was needed?
Well, I honestly have no idea. I think it's a decent buff. I don't think it affects almost at all.
Okay. All right. For Zerg, the Ravager range, the Ravager Corrosive Bile was buffed. The range has been increased from 9 to 12. Bly, do you think that was a very necessary buff?
This buff was made to try to counter Liberators, and it doesn't work. Like,
oh, really?
Almost like I don't feel the difference. The only one difference is when you fungal army, and you can like put corrosive bio on this army, cast it like from far away to don't get shot. Yeah, maybe that's but you don't get nothing else. You still don't have like proper counter to Liberators at early stages.
Did they say that they gave that upgrade against Liberator?
Against the tank Liberator, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, cool. I think. Oh yeah, the siege tank nerf Mole. I think we discussed it a little bit, but just to retouch on it briefly. The delay before unsieging, do you think it's okay that they went through with this?
It's like it seems to me it seemed kind of stupid initially because you could like the siege tank in the first place was really cool. The fact you could fly around and like micro it really heavily, but now when they nerfed it, like you can't just keep motion with your medevac and like keep dropping and like have nice micro with it because you have the delay. But and also you remove like the angling of the siege tank when you drop it. You remove that aspect as well. But the one good part about the siege tank change is that in turn versus turn it makes a huge deal. So before you
Yeah.
wouldn't have any advantage in marine tank war. The defender wouldn't have an advantage because the tanks would be starting shooting at the same time. So they have this 0.75 seconds, which is a huge deal. And that's actually why I think this change is somewhat good because of that. Another thing to keep in mind is that because of this 0.75 seconds, it's allowing Terran players a lot more to target fire before they shoot. So let's say I want to drop my tank and target a clump of banelings. Doing that is going to be a lot more easy now because I can just drop the tank and target the banes within 0.75 seconds. Whereas before I would have to look away from the banelings, then drop the tank and then do the target firing.
Oh, so it
So
it gives more micro in the end, right?
it's
Kind
more micro in some aspects and less micro in some.
Okay. That's really cool, I think. And now let's get into the big juicy topic. David Kim today wrote a big long post, community update by David Kim, September 10. That's today. So let's get into it. He addressed a lot of stuff. He wants to change the macro mechanics once again. Hold on, I have like too many tabs open. I can't find it. Let's see. Oh, Jesus. Let me get to Reddit, I guess. Hold on, I tweeted it. All right,
I
right here.
can link you.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I found it. All right, so he basically says the design team is split in half, whether they want to go back to Heart of the Swarm or they want to continue exploring. After testing with a Terran Mule, does he say? He says that it's not necessarily easier, but it was already pretty easy in Heart of the Swarm. He says that the mules not requiring energy is not something that's good. Let's see. And the late game mule spamming is still an issue. So if they were to go back to Heart of the Swarm, they would need to do something about it. The current thought is to not have mules overlap with other mules on patches so that the mule dropping in the later stages of the game doesn't get so out of hand. So Mo, I know you were pretty upset when you messaged me on Skype. You said some pretty fun stuff about
Yeah.
this. How do you feel?
Yeah, okay. So what is like I really liked The Last Mule, and there's some reasons why I really liked it. Like the way David Kim says, he basically is on the opposite side of me about the same thing. Like he really liked the part where you could basically, compare a mule and a scan. So you could, skip a scan and get a mule. Like he liked that aspect, and I fucking hate that aspect. So we're just on polar opposite ends of it. And I think that was actually such a huge change to Terran that you could scan without feeling that you just lost like 300 minerals. And at the same time, like you could just take a coin flip at any given point of the game, and you say, well, I'm gonna take a risk here. So instead of scanning, I'm gonna get like 300 minerals randomly. Like I really enjoyed that part. That Terran could finally get the consistency I've been looking for in the race. So yeah, that's like my biggest part about it. And the thing about SCV sacking and all that. Like there are so many good things about this mule that he had introduced to the game. Let me see. I actually wrote it down to someone here. Give me a second here.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I like how they're very consistent. We get the patch on Tuesday. We get a feedback on Thursday. Seems like actually the patch was on Thursday last week.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
go
So
for it.
also like Terran, Turtle Terran,
Mm-hmm.
how like last patch, you couldn't just like take a new base from being completely dry with turtleneck and just get like start mule hammering like crazy on a new base, because that would just it was basically a big nerf to turtleneck that way, and now it's just back again. Like now it's basically like harder to swarm again, and I really don't like that. SCV pool not really relevant since you didn't mine out yet. But then was also the part about SCV sacking is basically just gonna be back and be like harder to swarm again. Like all of these things I really liked about the mule that they had in Legacy of Void for the last patch, and now it just seems like he's just gonna give up on it for no apparent reason, to me at least. And the part about scan, like skip a scan and get a mule, like if he thinks that's good design, I think that's like terrible design, because it's already StarCraft 2 is already like a volatile game. Taking coin flips, like going 3cc, is already like you can already do that if you want. I don't see why you have to like put that in the macro mechanic as well. It gets like as coin flip as it gets. And there was also another thing about like he said their current plan with the new mule is that you can't go beyond, like you can't stack mules and minerals, but that's not really gonna fix the issue about grabbing a new base, because you're still gonna be able to drop like 8 mules on a new mineral line and still get income from 8 mules, and that's like way good enough already. So he doesn't really solve the problem with that suggestion.
Interesting. Well, hopefully he listens to what you have to say, because it makes sense, at least on my end. What were you trying to say, Bly?
I disagree so much about it. Like,
Yeah.
the recent patch, Terran had like such a big buff. There is almost no difference between the old mule and new mule. Like 240 or 270 minerals is not a big difference at all. And while you have free scan or free supply depot, like you can get supply blocked like 10 times a game and you never got punished for that, because you have free energy or you have free scan, free, while like other races got nerfed. I feel like it's too much of a buff for turn, like too much. There should be one or another. Like if mule costs energy and you cast it on like autocast, okay, yes. But like why inject cost energy same time? Like inject cost energy, mule does not. Why? Where is the difference? Like they made same micro mechanics, like making it less efficient, like 3 lava instead of 4 and 40 instead of 45. Seriously, I just don't see the reason.
That's a very good point. They could have reworked the energy on the queen as well. What's up, Naiden?
I think the current, I'm not 100% sure, but I think the current mule is better for Terran, but I think they should have nerfed it instead of reverting it to HOTS. Why I'm saying that? I did a little research a few days ago, and I'll give you just one example. If both Protoss and Terra are on three bases, 4 gases taken each, and 16 workers, both of them, Terran has 2,100, 2,200 income, while Protoss has 1,800, 1,900. And I think that's not really fair.
What's the difference in workers again? Sorry?
Same worker count.
Yeah.
4 gases.
But that is that's the same in Heart of the Swarm.
Yeah, it's like it's 30 minerals more in Heart of the Swarm.
I don't know. I didn't check in Heart of the Swarm. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's almost.
The difference is Mule getting 240 minerals,
So I
in a
think
lot
for
and 270
I
in
think
hard.
for the game would have been, as Moro said, to keep the current mule and but nerf it. Like
Yeah.
they would give less income to the Terra. That's what I think.
I feel like it
But
should
I'm not.
just be 50 energies, that's all. Like, it should be same energy as before. And if you use it, okay. Like, it should be, like, totally same mule as in hats. Like, 270 maybe. And it's on autocast, yes, but it costs 50 energy while scan costs 50. So if you wanna drop a scan or supply depot, you have to cancel the autocast, that's all.
Okay, I get your point.
Yeah,
Moro,
they
do you agree
I
with
mean, Bly,
what I'm
you're
saying?
yeah, I agree with you, Nathan. Like, if it turns out to be in balance, it might be in balance right now, like you're saying. Because right now, Tyron has kind of the best of both worlds, where they do get the mule income at the same time they still get the scans. So like we have the mules and we have the scans. It's just more of everything. So it turns out, if it turns out to be the case that Tyron is too strong or Tyron is too strong right now, sure, like give the mule less income. I just want to keep it intact the way that you don't feel like you just win like 250 minerals or whatever just by skipping a scan. Like you take such an easy coin flip, and that's what I hate about the Hardware Swarm Mule, and that's what David Kim likes about the Hardware Swarm Mule is that fact. So we just disagree completely about that.
Yeah.
So when the mule was introduced back after it was removed, it was nerfed from 45 minerals per trip to 40. So you think
Yeah,
40 is not a big enough nerf, Naiden?
no,
Okay, that's
at all.
yeah.
No.
Like, as
Well,
I
well,
said, and as we all agree, like, Turn now
let's
have
be
all
clear.
the abilities.
Yeah.
Okay,
They
talk.
now
Yeah.
now they are nerfing uh, the Terran. They are not buffing the Terran.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying they should have nerf the Terran as much as they do now. If they would lower the mule income, that would have been a much lesser nerf for the Terran than they are considering to do it now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But for me personally, like I don't really care about balance. Like something about macro mechanics, I think that's just so basic. It like
Well, besides that,
what that does to me is game design, and difficulty races is so much more important to me than actual balance. So if your mule gets a bit too much, like 240, like sure put it to 150. Like I don't really care about that.
Okay.
yeah, I already said that the current mule is better for the game than reverting it to HOTS. I said that.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I mean, I get your point to just have both possibilities to don't play coin flip and have a possibility to scan one time when you need to.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what they do. Hopefully, Mo, I like your thoughts on it. I understand why you want to keep it. Hopefully, David listens to the other side of the story. Next up, we have Protoss Chrono Boosts. With the version currently in the beta, Chrono Boost is cast by the Nexus closest to the target. There's no ideal way to handle how we move the Chrono Boost around. Just having like a visual effect to know which one, so that we have to do it manually, would be best, I feel. They said they want to add a cooldown to help that. So they're thinking about, was it 3 seconds? Or maybe it didn't say how many, just a few more seconds. Um,
I
and
think now it's 1 second.
yeah, right now is 1 second. So, and he also specifies that they really want significant improvements. If they're gonna do something that's only a slight improvement, it's not good enough for them. So they want something that's like so much better. But Naidan, we discussed before the show, like, you can say why you like it so much more, but the new Chrono Boost is much better, right?
Well, it's much better because it takes away some of the macro requirements, while you can focus more on the micro part. I think, actually, I don't think, I'm sure, uh, Legacy of the Void, the current Legacy of the Void Protoss, it's much better, much more fun than it was in HOTS and Wings of Liberty. Why? Because now you're not forced to turtle 2-3 base uh, and do a timing push. Now you can do a lot more things. Like the disruptors requires micro, adept requires micro, while in HOTS and Wings of Liberty you didn't have too much micro. For example, PvP in HOTS was not mostly, but it had a lot of gambles. Now in Legacy, I think it's much better.
Okay. I'm gonna disagree a little bit more with you. I feel like the new Chrono Boost is not easier, simply
No, I'm
because.
not. I'm not saying it's a lot easier.
Oh,
I'm saying it's easier, but not a lot easier.
okay, okay,
But it does take from the macro requirements.
okay. So I don't think it's easier, because you can't float energy. So like let's say you're chrono boosting an upgrade and then you're trying to micro, you have to go back and change the chrono boost right away. Otherwise, you're just losing a lot of potential. So I feel like it adds like a new sort of pressure. It makes it more dynamic. Let's say you're chrono boosting probes and your supply block. Well, instead of like paying the price of being supply block, you can chrono boost an upgrade now. So there's just more variety and there's more options. But it's meant to help the macro. But I think in some ways it also rewards better players that have the time to go switch the chrono boost. And since you can't float it, there's just less options. But that's how I feel about it. Maybe Bly or Moro, you guys you agree with Naidan, or maybe you have a different take on it.
Mm, I can't say much about the new Chrono Boost except like it's a bit easier now.
Okay.
Like not too much, but a bit easier, which makes the new players like the game more, I guess, because it's easier to execute the game. I mean, as much as it like simple, as simple as it might be, the new players will try it out and play more because it's gonna be more fun to don't lose like I would say this word garbage in the first game, and then you just okay, I don't want to play this game anymore.
Yeah, I agree with you. What about you, Moro?
For me, it's like less like there are arguments to say it's harder to use, and that there are some arguments to say that it's easier. But for me, the big part about this Legacy of the Void Chronobus is that it's less extreme because you can't pull up energy. So let's say your Twilight Council finishes and you in the Harder Storm, like you pulled up all your energy for Blink, like you could get out Blink at an absurd rate. Whereas now in Legacy of Void, it's just a little bit like watered out, if that's a good term for it. Like you can't just push everything to the extreme so much, which means there's just less possibilities overall for any kind of Protoss builds, and that's what I really like about the Chrono Boost. So seeing how Protoss gets less possibilities through that, Protoss could become more consistent. That's my theory about it, at least. So I really like the Legacy Chrono Boost.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Next up, we have the Zerg spawn larva. This mechanic is most difficult because design-wise, the current version is better. However, players are losing a skill they've been practicing for years. So internally, they've been testing a different version for Zerg, which have the autocast removed, but it's possible to queue spawn larva on a hatchery. For example, you can cast spawn larva 3 times on the same hatchery at the same time, and after one pops, the next one will begin. This might be closer to what we've been looking for. So basically, like, you know, like you have to go answer the door, you come back, you have like 100 energy on your queen, you can cast it 3 times, and then you don't have to worry about it for however long 3 time takes. Bly, like, does this sound better or worse than the previous version?
It sounds worse, but it's kind of okay, I would say. Like, if you miss your inject, you get punished for that because, like, you'll get the next injects, like, instantly. Yeah, you will inject 2 times, and you don't worry about it for, like, 1 minute and 20 seconds. But after, you got, like, units later, you got your Lara later, because the guy who didn't fail with his macro mechanics, he put inject like 25 energy and just instantly, and he got more units. So it's kind of they're trying to make a reward for better players, for better mechanic players, and don't nerf too much the guys who don't make injects or forgetting or don't make it too good, I would say.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like most of the Zergs that don't enjoy Heart of the or Legacy of the Void right now is due to the injects. Of course, like, you can't always take what someone says 100% seriously because a lot of people are close-minded, or you know, they might just struggle to find their footing to enjoy the game. Like, they don't like something new, or they just don't want to like struggle to like figure out what they need to do. But hopefully this is a good middle ground. It doesn't sound too bad. Next up, we have the Adept. And
I got a question.
Oh, go for
So
it.
about the larva inject, it's like you queue up, let's say queue up 3 times the same time. Is it like after 30 seconds you get like 12 larva, or is it
No,
like...
I have like
No.
no. You build up the energy on the queen, and then you can cast it, and then it just like queues up the the energy. It queues up the production, so it's gonna pop once, then it's gonna be casted right away without the queen needing to be there.
Oh,
Then
okay.
again. You get it?
Okay. Yeah, okay, so it's gonna be like, compared to Harder Swarm, it's gonna be much easier to use, but compared to Legacy, it's obviously harder since you have to do something at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like, let's say like you have a queen that's spreading creep, and you get a 4th. Well, you can like just empty up that queen energy on the new hatchery, and it's gonna cast it for like 3. It's gonna produce for 3 times. Alright, next up, the Adept. With the stronger Terran and Zerg macro mechanics in the latest patch, we're not really seeing the same Adept strength that we used to. Also, in exploring in PvP more, it's not quite clear to us that Mass Adept are the best composition in the later stage of the game. So they're gonna keep testing the Adept with the Armored Flag and see if there's a potential change to their upgrade that they can also do. They don't want to be too quick to judge the Adept because it's not uncommon for players to overreact when core units are being added to the game, something like the Ravager. And they also mentioned, or actually their example is not a Ravager, that's what I added, but their example is the Marauder. When it was added in Wings of Liberty, people complained it was imbalanced for the longest time, and it's been stable throughout Heart of the Swarm. So the Adept, Naiden, like, as someone who likes to mass Adept, do you think they were better last patch and now they're more reasonable? Just like David Kim says?
Well, they didn't change the Adept, no?
But
No.
but now that the Zerg and the Terran have like a better, more larva and more economy, more mule, your enemy has more units to deal with the Adept, so the Adept in itself is a little bit less strong than he used to be. That's what he's saying. Do you agree with that?
Not really. I didn't feel any difference. Like, I didn't feel the Zerg and the Terran, or the Terran is stronger than against the Adept now. But I want to point out one thing. I'm not sure why many are complaining that Adept is too strong. Why? Adept costs 100 minerals, 25 gas, and Roach, for example, costs 75 minerals, 25 gas. If you fight one-on-one, like one Roach, one Adept, Roach will always win. If you fight 20 Roach with 20 Adepts, Roach will win extremely easy. So yeah, they are more mobile early on when the Roach don't have the speed upgrade. But yeah, I simply don't see why they are considered too strong. Early on, for example, against Terran, they can just wall off the ramp, and the Adept will never get in. Against Zerg, they just have to make a Roach to defend from the Adept. Like I never did any high damage to the drone count to a good Zerg with the Adept.
Okay.
They only have to make Roach. That's the counter to the Adept.
So in other words, you think the Adept, like in the stats of the Adept right now, is good, or what?
You think so?
Well, I'm not sure what I said to David Kim is that maybe he should try a different upgrade, a damage upgrade, not a health, not a shield upgrade. Because against Terran, late game, you can just EMP the shield, and the shield is useless, like the upgrade itself.
So you would want a bigger health points, like more HP on the Adept?
No, I would want to try a damage, an upgrade for damage instead of the current upgrade that we have.
You think do you think an upgrade?
Look, until you try a change, like I'm just thinking it might be better. I'm not saying it's better.
Do you think an upgrade damage where it would help versus armored units would be the way to go? Because like the damage it does to armored units is like nothing. It tickles really. So,
yeah, I know.
So you think that'd be nice?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know until I try it. I can't know for sure, but I think.
Okay, interesting. What about you, Bly? You made a lot of comments about Roach's crushing adepts. Is that how you feel? Because I saw you giggle a bit.
Okay, I want to point out something. The thing that like he compare adept to roaches. Okay, why don't we compare banelings to marauder or banelings to blink stalker? Like, why? Yeah, because this unit have more damage versus light units. Yeah. So why don't you put adepts versus hydras? Meantime, like Hydra is.
Why would you compare?
Hydra is tier 2 unit, but
yeah.
adepts just shrek them, and you can easily go with all adepts. Just use shadow mode, go into Hydras, and just kill it.
Well, I actually can't believe you are serious.
I'm
not sure if
I'm
you're
serious.
Or you're
like
trolling.
adepts right now is kind of strong unit, I would say. Like it have too much HP, and all the races suffering from this because it's too much of a shield for the army.
Okay,
like right now, when you have disruptors,
okay.
there cannot ever
Okay, the problem is you like to whine a lot. I'm not whining here. I'm just telling you the facts.
You
Roach
compare
is
a
cheaper
roach.
and it's stronger.
You compare a
Okay,
roach
let
to
me explain.
adept.
Okay, let me explain. Roach is a core unit. Adept is a core unit. Uh, you're asking me why I compare adept with roach. And why I'm not comparing adept against hydras? It's like saying why I'm not comparing hydras. I can say the same. Why are you not comparing the hydras with stalkers? Like hydras against stalkers, they will always win, right? Head to head.
No,
No?
no. When you have blink,
You can have
stalker's
blink, they
better.
won't win.
All right, guys. All right, guys.
Okay, let's ask Moro. Moro, what do you think?
I actually wanted to ask Bly before that. So, Bly, you're saying the adept right now is kind of strong. If you could change the adept any way you would like, what would you do?
I would add like 3-4 damage and get HP like 30 less at least. Maybe 40
Okay.
even. Like the HP right now it's too high. Like when you upgrade shield, like unit from tier 1 unit with 230 HP, it's
Yeah, but if they are this strong, why does Roach counter the adept? Not counter, but beats them.
Well,
They are
adept
because-
is anti-light unit.
yes. Adept is anti-drone unit actually, but not much Protoss using it yet.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
like, I think the adept is just like a really nice buffer for the Protoss army, and
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, and then when you
I
make it,
think adept is a good unit. I'm
Yeah.
not saying it's a bad unit.
yeah, and then when you make adepts, they're forced into roaches, and so that gives you more options. No, like I don't think it's a problem that roaches beat adept.
Yeah, but I'm
1
also
versus 1,
forced.
yes.
I'm also forced to make adepts.
But not
Right.
too hard, I would say, actually.
Sorry.
They don't beat them too hard.
Yeah.
It's like you need like a lot of roaches to kill one shot adept.
Well, they're gonna take away the HP buff, so Bly, you'll get your wish granted. As for roaches beating adepts, maybe with a damage upgrade, or rather adepts beating roaches, maybe with a damage upgrade that they're gonna put in, that's gonna get solved. But I feel like we talked a lot about adepts.
I
Although-
just want to say my opinion.
Wait.
Yeah, Moro's
I
opinion.
still want to
Yeah.
hear Moro's.
Go for
thought.
it.
I kind of agree with you guys. I think the adept is like too centered around HP right now and has too little damage. Another problem with adept, I think, is too much like hard country. I would like it to have more damage naturally and less damage against light. And the third part about adept, I think it scales really badly into late game. So I would love to see them having less plasma shields and more just HP so they can, get benefit from armor upgrades. I think the teleporting ability is like really retarded right now, especially considering its stats being very tanky. Because what Protoss players do right now is that you just take pure adept and they just blink into a bio ball, and they just like nobody can micro when he's standing on top of you, and then the adepts pretty much win. So I think a neat change to the blink ability would be if you get like some kind of debuff after you finish the blink. But just as a general thought, I'm kind of seeing an adept nerf coming sooner or later in the early game, because it pretty much just kills the Terran, because you just need to find a way to kill the wall, and if you kill the wall, the adepts get into the Terran base and it like
GG.
kills every Terran unit.
Okay.
Yeah. And even in the late game, I feel like adepts is kind of strong still. Like you don't need mass, you need like a few for shield, and meantime it's best harass unit ever. because like you just
Not
put on
again,
hold
not against
position.
Iron anyway.
Versus Zerg, you just put on hold position, and they kill the drones. It's
But Mo, you said changing the damage so it does more damage to like everything. So like, what would be a good middle ground? Taking three shots of adept to snipe one worker, or
I haven't. I don't really want to go into specifics. I just hate seeing a unit with what like around. It has around 10 damage against everything and around 30 damage against light. I think that's really stupid. But yeah, I don't know the specific damage of adept, but I would love to see those numbers come close together.
okay, okay, interesting. Next up, we have the photon overcharge. Now, we didn't mention it in the balance patch when they added it. Basically, the way it works is photon overcharge can now only be casted on pylons as an attack range of 7, as a duration of 30 seconds, only costs 25 energy, thank the Lord, and deals 30 damage every 0.89 seconds. And so what David came out to say about this is the defensive case with photon overcharge and the early to mid game is too strong right now. It's too difficult to do both harassment type and frontal type attacks against Protoss in the early game. Obviously, this is not what we want from the new ability, so we're exploring potential nerfs. We're thinking of either doing a duration nerf to 10 to 15 seconds or a cost nerf to 50. We're slightly leaning towards a duration nerf at the moment because it is a lot more adjustable going forward as we fine-tune the balance of this ability. Though we're not concerned with offensive pylon rushes, this nerf will weaken this tactic. Now, before we get into this, and I know like I'm the host and I'm the least skilled on the show, I was thinking about something, and maybe like you guys can call me retarded, or maybe Naiden can agree because it would be nice. But I was thinking like, if we're not gonna cast photon overcharge on a Nexus or something, how would you guys feel if Protoss had 2 mothership cores? And instead of having 200 energy per mothership core, you'd have 100. So you can do like a lot less, but you can do a lot more because they're spread. Would that be retarded? Because the mothership core is expensive and very important. But Mo,
I wouldn't like that.
no, it'd be too much micro. Because it would be harder to like do everything at once because you don't have like just one hotkey. You need 2 now.
Well, I don't know what to say. As I said, before you play, you have to play with a change before you actually know exactly if it's good or bad. Like, for example, this change with photon overcharge, I think currently it's too strong, but I don't know if this change it's good or bad. Like, I mean, I don't know if the nerf is too big or not. It might be good, it might be not.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know, but we didn't talk about the specific of having photon overcharge being on a pylon specifically. Nainan, do you prefer that to the Nexus, or do you not?
No, I definitely prefer the current one on pylons.
Yeah.
It's much better for the Protoss.
Yeah.
But currently it's stronger.
But
it's too strong.
But it's tricky sometimes. Like it's definitely it takes time to adapt to it. Like if you forget to put like 2 pylons in front of your Nexus and the Terran comes in and you don't have anything to photon overcharge, you're kind of screwed. But Mo, what's your take on this photon overcharge nerf? Do you like the direction it's taking?
Yeah, like increasing it to 50 energy was actually one of my suggestions.
Oh.
I'm not sure at what talk show at this point, but at one of them at least, because I think 25 energy it becomes sort of a wash away ability, which removes some of the strategy from it. So I would really like to see it at 50 energy. And one of my biggest concerns with the current photon overcharge is that you do it aggressively, but having it on 50 energy might actually be enough of a nerf to just remove that completely, or at least make it, kind of fair. So I would really like to see it at 50 energy.
What about you, Bly?
I feel like right now it's kind of strong, and making it 50 energy is a good start, but I think right now it's too much DPS.
Okay.
I feel like I saw a few times like turn trying to drop one Master Ship core, making 3 pylons overcharge, and both drop ships just disappear like instantly. I don't think that it's kind of balanced right now. And meantime, versus Zerg, Protoss can push third base of Zerg like so easy with the pylon. Coming with Master Ship core, meantime adepts, and you just cannot kill the pylon without Rogers.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's a problem.
I would love to see like more HP on a pylon that's been put on a shirt to get like a temporary shield. And I think the damage, even though the damage is really big, like if you increase it to 50, the damage might actually be justified for. But yeah, just the fact like if you can't actually put on overcharge a lot of pylons and turn doom drops you, then you will actually kill those pylons pretty quickly with the marauders, and I can see that becoming a problem. And that's why I would love to see a little bit of a range buff on it, and
Yeah, I can
have
tell
some
you
more shields.
that I played like base trade versus Protoss, and he made like 7 overcharges on the pylons and had 3 cannons. My base trade failed like instantly.
Yeah.
That sounds beautiful, actually.
Yeah, the damage is really big.
Yeah, certain damage is too much. Like it's way more than cannon, way more than overcharge before. Why it's 30?
It's like obviously because you can like a pylon has very low HP compared to Nexus. I think that's the only reason.
Can we take the time to talk about time warp? I feel like the energy cost and everything about it is like pretty sucky. I wish they would I don't know, like I feel like it takes too long to become a big bubble. Maybe the AoE is too large, like I have a smaller AoE and the bubble goes up quicker. But like maybe more, like do you feel like time warp has an impact on battles? Like do you ever like get time warped and you're like shit, like it happened, I got out of it, or I didn't get out of it, I had all this time but I fucked it up and now I'm screwed.
No, and that actually makes me kind of happy because I think time warp is like a retarded ability that shouldn't be in the game. There's so many PvP fights I've watched, and I'm no PvP expert, but it's like I say, just those time warps go down on both Colossus balls, and suddenly, like before they're doing cool, kiting with Colossus and stuff, you see like the little dance, and then you just fucking time warps go down, and they just fucking move into each other. I think time warp is the kind of ability it just fucking removes the micro from both players. That's my opinion. So I was, kind of happy about time warp being nerfed into the ground because now we see it literally never. But talking from a balance perspective, like it's so useless right now, and it only makes sense that it's gonna get buffed.
Okay. What about you, Naiden? Do you like the time warp in the current form?
Well, I actually don't use the time warp. I think at all, almost at all. I rather save up the energy for the other 2 spells. Like currently, it's quite useless.
Okay. All right, let's go into the Overlord transport.
I didn't talk about it.
Okay, I'm sorry, Black. Oh! Ends up. All right, go for it.
Okay, so I played versus this time warp, and I feel like if Protoss uses it smart and properly, it's kind of strong. Like one time I faced time warp, like he go around with Master Ship core behind my army and put it at the back, and meantime from the top I saw like three disruptors shoot the balls, and I could not retreat,
Oh,
and I just got tracked.
that sounds beautiful.
Yeah, it's hard to execute, but it's kind of strong. If you manage to use it, yeah, it's kind of strong.
Okay. That's okay, so it's still good. All right.